Hello everyone, Elsie Rosie here, and welcome back to the Ship Show. I hope you guys all enjoyed your little week off. I ended up having to take a mental health day, so I was not able to upload the comic for last Friday. But now we're back on schedule, so let's dive in and see how Golden and Spring's reunion is doing. Let's do it!
Previously, with the lost golden boy. Why was this happening? Cupcake was losing his mind because all he wanted was for these two to kiss already. I'm waiting. Cupcake eventually came down from his jumping happiness to check on the big yellow ones. But they still weren't kissing. Excuse you, sir. Bruh, they still haven't kissed. After hearing their sweet embrace and learning about their tragic past, it only made sense, right? They should be able to come together and kiss. Bruh, just kiss already. Kiss! Cupcake began leaping up and down the air. He was very, very angry, repeatedly screaming for the two to kiss, 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 kiss. Spring glanced behind him in response to hearing the repeated thuds. I think the cupcake is spazzing, he said. Goldie peeked over Spring's shoulder, seeing steam come out of the frustrated little plastic creature. Oh dear. Concerned, but too comfy to worry about that too much right now. Spring gave Goldie a little squeeze. Then he reached back and patted the ground until his paws closed around the cupcake, catching him after a jump. Come here, you little muffin. At his words, he felt Cupcake straighten up. Oops. Had he touched a nerve? Cupcake glared up at Spring in response. His thoughts were as sassy and snappy as ever. Did he just call me a muffin? Bruh, I am a cupcake, not a muffin. Spring easily lifted the raging little beastie and held him before Golden, who was trying to resist laughing. Spring, he's a cupcake. His paws covered his muzzle in an attempt to muffle his giggles. Spring tilted his head down so he could get the best view of that smile. Really? I never would have guessed. He rose his eyebrows up. He really missed the sound of Golden laughing. And that smile. Cupcake looked up to the viewer, making eye contact with this incredible being. I wish I had arms so I could flip a table. His eyebrows crunching in on his face. He glanced between the two oblivious lovebirds. Or even better, I could use them, my arms, to push these two together already so they could kiss. Golden tilted his head back, his lips opening up to let out a gentle laugh. His tail began to wag back and forth. Golden's little giggles were like music to Spring's ears. Cutie. He hasn't changed a bit. Cupcake was not here for this fluffy cuteness. He was here for the smooches. He doesn't need this much fluff. Spring let his body rest against Golden's. He nuzzled his forehead into Goldie's, making the little bear squeak in surprise, his ears flattening against his head. I really missed you, my little Goldie. Golden's paws fell to his chest, confirming that his racing heart wouldn't explode out of him. He said, my Goldie. Golden glanced up at Spring. I missed you too, my Springtrap. Using his new name, instead of just Spring, brought Golden back a bit to reality. Golden reached down and picked up Cupcake, whom Spring had let slip to the floor. He stroked the creature's cheek and darted his gaze away from Spring's. Spring, I need to tell you something. He felt his shoulders rise and fall. Spring reached a paw forward and brushed a patch of Golden's hair off his shoulder, allowing his fingers to trail through the golden locks. Well, Spring. Golden was stumbling over his words. It had been so long, and now was the time to finally come clean. He had waited long enough. He wouldn't miss this. He froze, one paw rising up to his lips, a nervous tic that had developed since Spring had last seen him. Spring tilted his head to the side. What had gotten into Goldie? Cupcake noticed the change, his eyes widening up at him, trying to ask him what was wrong. Why couldn't Goldie hear him? Usually he could. Unknown to both the cupcake and the rabbit animatronic, Purple still had his claws in Golden. That vile monster of a man rose in Golden's mind, appearing out of that sea of sick magic. He doesn't care about you. He never did. Golden could feel Purple's icy breath on his ears, making him shiver. He probably doesn't even miss you. Poor Goldie. All alone. Golden's fur began to stand on end. His ears wilted. What if Purple was right? He leaned back. What if Spring doesn't feel the same? He curled his shoulders in. His shaking had gotten worse. Will he never want to see me again? I can't lose him. His eyes were hidden behind his bangs. Cupcake began to nudge and rub into Golden's stomach, his eyes searching for Goldie's. He didn't understand what he was going through, but he could feel the weight of it. Goldie, tell him. He likes you back. I know he does. Tell him, he whispered, hoping this time Golden could hear him. Spring found himself lost for words, so he let his paws do the talking. They rested on Golden's knees. Then he spread his fingers and walked up to Golden's paws. He gave them a little squeeze. Then he slid his fingers under Golden's and pulled, gently sliding the cupcake out of Golden's grasp. Cupcake let out a soft hum. He was not supposed to be the focus right now. Golden was the one who was supposed to be focused on right now. Spring, ignore me. Focus on Golden. Goldie's eyes met Cupcake through his bangs. He watched with his eyes ended up widening as Spring dropped the cupcake on his side. Huh? Cupcake began to roll around in protest. He was not pleased by the sudden change. Also, Spring, pay attention to Goldie. He is not the focus here. Golden should be the focus here, sir. Golden reached down to pick him up, but was stopped when Spring placed his paws on Golden's hips. Huh? Spring pulled Golden into his chest fluff, the spot that had, luckily, remained the softest on his body. Golden opened his eyes and found himself being tightly squeezed from a shaking Springtrap. I don't know what I've missed since I've been gone. His fingers slid through Golden's fur, pulling him as close as he could be. He could feel Golden's tears fall into his chest. Cupcake stopped rolling around and paused, watching. But Golden Freddy. This came out as a soft whisper, which tickled Goldie's ear. I'm here now, and I will never leave you again. Golden felt his tears begin to wash away. He nuzzled deeper into Spring, letting out a pleased hum at hearing his whole name. Spring hummed back and ended up harmonizing with Golden's voice. He held Golden extra close, rubbing circles, then pizza slices into his sides. Once Golden had stopped shaking and was sufficiently warmed back up, Spring tilted his head back and gently guided Golden back too, so their eyes could meet. So, what do you want to tell me? He asked. He couldn't help but chuckle as he saw that nervous smile flash on Golden's face. Golden's paws slid down Spring's chest. He let out a sharp squeak. Well. His tail had begun to wag back and forth.
It's fine. It's fine. I don't need my heart. It's fine. Everything's chill. Everything is fine. Sorry, guys. I forgot how much heart the show had. Also, guys, pay attention to what Cupcake says, because I can't always write in his lines because he doesn't do it now, but sometimes Cupcake's lines don't quite make sense. He's a bit of a goofball. So, guys, I hope you all enjoy, and I will see you all next Friday for the show. Bye, guys.